Since you've just landed on this video, I'm going to assume that you want to learn more about the iPort Advance. And full disclosure before we start, I absolutely love this little device. So as you can see from the video, the device is really easy to fit and it takes around 30 seconds. Obviously, the first few times you do it, or if you're working with a child, there's going to be some apprehension of where to put it and whether it's going to hurt or not. But I can assure you, after the first few times you do it, it becomes like riding a bike. That was quick, painless, and now I'm ready to inject insulin whenever I want. You need to make sure that your needles aren't too small. So if you're on smaller than 5mm, you'll need to get them increased to make sure the insulin gets to where it needs to be within the device. If you're out and about and you've checked your blood sugars and they're high, 9 times out of 10, if you're anything like me, you're going to look at them and you're going to start weighing up, is it worth treating this right now because I'll go and find somewhere, go to a toilet, take my pants off, get all uncomfortable, do my insulin, put my pants back up, and then I'm going to have to check my blood sugars and do it all again, blah 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 blah. The outcome for me personally usually was just leave it and not treat it and just hope for the best. But look at the difference in the time and effort taken to do your insulin now. Everybody knows that with diabetes, your injection sites will become lumpy, sore, bruised, and just generally uncomfortable no matter how many times you switch. You can switch from your arms, your bum, your stomach, anywhere, and it won't make a difference. You'll still be very, very irritated in them areas. Well, the iPort Advance almost entirely eliminates that. So typically, you'll get 3 or 4 days usage out of this device, depending on how often you inject insulin. It'll be different for each person, and it'll also be different because of people's tolerances. So personally, in practice, I get around 3 to 4 days out of it. I know when it's time to change it because it becomes slightly uncomfortable and you can feel a sensation when you're putting your insulin in, and that says to me it's time to change it. So after 4 days, I'll then put it in the other side. What will then happen is, the side that I've just taken out of will probably have some minor bruising and a little bit of a lump. But while I'm using the other side for 4 days, that's healing up nicely. Whereas you'll know that when you do your insulin directly into your legs, and you do it in different areas of your legs, eventually it's just going to swell up and up and up and up. But with this magical device, none of that happens, because by the time you get it over to the next one, it's already healed. Before going on this, I had welts all over my legs, all over my stomach. I never used my arms because there's not enough fat on them. But it was very, very painful. And it was very uncomfortable, and every time I touched my legs, I'd get shooting pains. That's completely gone, and I've got no lumps anywhere. And that alone was enough for me to say, right, I'm using these going forward forever. So far, I've just gushed over it. So let's talk about the cons. And the main one that comes to mind, and the main one that stopped me from having this for about a year, was the look of it and the effect on body image. This device does not look amazing. It doesn't make you feel 10 times sexier. It doesn't make you feel 10 times cooler. And if you're younger and you're of school age and all that stuff, you might feel self-conscious about having it. Your son and daughter might not want it because they don't want something attached to them, and that's all completely normal feelings, because you can't really say to someone, oh, don't be so vain, because I'm not being funny, but none of us want wires and tubes and stuff attached. If that was the case, and it was fashionable, we'd all have wires hanging out of our arse, wouldn't we? There's different ways you can get around it. So there's nothing to say that, say for instance, you're going on holiday or you know your body's going to be exposed at some point. There's nothing to stop you taking it out and then putting another one in. The only thing with that is you will lose the one you've got and you can't reapply the same one, so you need a fresh one every 3 or 4 days. And if you take it out early, then you're going to need a new one. If you're one of the people who like to swim or take a lot of baths, then this might cause a problem. You can shower on it and you can get a proper wash, but I don't think you're meant to submerge it in water for a long period of time. I've had baths in it, but it's always felt a bit weird afterwards, so I tend to avoid baths until I'm, I've not got one in and I'm just about to put a new one and I'll take a bath in between. So that's definitely one of the drawbacks. But as I said earlier, if you want to take one out and put a new one in because you're desperate for a bath or a swim, then it's always an option. The positives outweigh the negative that much that I guarantee you, do what I did, try it out for a week. Don't expect too much. Tell yourself if you want to that you're going to try it out for a week and you're not going to use it after. And then you come back to this video and you tell me that you love it and you want to keep it in for years. You honestly, you will never go back to injecting into your legs when this is available to you. When you've tasted it, you'll just never go back. I hope this video has been a little bit useful for you. If you've got any concerns or you want to ask any questions or you want to call me out on anything I've said, then let me know in the comments. And also let me know how you get on with it and how you've started on them and how you love them. Or alternatively, if you don't,